going on? Welcome to Out of the Gate here on a Monday to kick off another week of live racing. Track announcer Chris Griffin here in the Parx Racing studio. Let's not waste any time. Let's take a look at some of the winners last week. It's the Parx Playback.
Parx Playback time. Here we go. On Monday, it was Kawaja time to kick off the early action class drop and right to the winner's circle. Trainer Mariah Montoya gets the win. Practical Coach with Frankie Pennington aboard. Great stretch run here, and for trainer Butch Reed, the Cash is King Silks just gutting it out and getting to the winner's circle. Uptown, Uptown. By Uptown Charlie Brown, Scott Lake has got a nice 2-year-old filly. Uptown Amanda, the Pennsylvania bred, the Pennsylvania sired, a dominant debut. Tuesday action, Smarty Pants Sandy rolling down the stretch, a Dubiel Ignacio just getting up in the nick of time. Otis getting right back to the winner's circle. Otis with a dominant performance. This was an impressive win. It was a tight stretch run between the stablemates for JKX Racing. Yes, sir, Colonel, under jockey Jorge Vargas Jr., just in the final jump, winning this race by a nose. Moving on to Wednesday action, Beautiful Gem. How good was this performance? No stopping Beautiful Gem on a debut, the 5-year-old mare. Timothy Kreiser sending out the mare to a dominant debut victory. Johnny Sack with a ground-saving trip was just needing some of that room, and trainer Ralph Riviezzo getting the score with Johnny Sack and a nice win. Jamie Ness and Frankie Pennington teaming up one more time. Margin of error, there was no doubt about it. Just striding away here in the stretch. A double-digit length victory. Margin of error cruising to the score. Have a great week.
Taking a look at the weekly wrap-up, of course, stats for the week of July 18th to the 20th. Check it out on Facebook and also our Instagram. That's Parx_Racing. Make sure you guys follow along, check it out, send your comments, and maybe we'll put you on the show right here on a Monday afternoon. Race number 1, take a look at this 6-furlong race, 12-5, non-winners of 3 lifetime. This is before scratches and changes, obviously, so I'll get those scratches and changes coming up to you very shortly, but let's take a look at those selections here from race number 1. That's going to be the number 1 Golden Spoke towards the inside. Bill Hogan Jr. off of a little bit of a layoff, but comes in here. Doesn't have to run for the tag as posted here at the 12-5. 4-year-old gelding that hasn't been seen since February. Does have that front end speed, and I think that's going to be a very useful tool here towards the inside. Is probably going to have to go here with that rail draw. Race number 2 at 1 mile and 70 yards. 7,500 non-4 lifetime event in here. And when you take a look at this field, the number 4 French Toast, you're going to have a big favorite towards the outside, a class dropper that's coming in from Belmont. Usually they take action. The number 4 French Toast, Sylvester Gonzalez, teaming up with Howard Brown Jr. And I've got a video preview that we're going to talk about during the live show. And let's actually take a look at that. I forgot. We're going to take a look at that replay right now. But French Toast, looking at this effort, this horse is going to be very game to the inside. The Connections tried the optional 16, didn't quite pan out. So Howard Brown Jr. came right back and dropped this horse down for the 7,500 non-3 tag. It worked because the horse comes right back and wins. The horse won by 13 lengths, so you can understand trying a little stiffer class competition. Didn't pan out. Now the 5-year-old gelding came back down to the 7,500, gets the win, and then comes right back here at the 7,500 non-4. It seems to work perfectly here for the Connections. The number 4 French Toast, we'll see if we do catch that value there in race number 2. We're going to talk about some of the middle races here in the sequence, but the Pennsylvania Derby, I've talked about it. It's right around the corner. And this year, the Pennsylvania Derby has got a new name.
This year, Parx Racing is proud to announce the 2022 Grade 1 Pennsylvania Derby is now the Bet Parx Pennsylvania Derby. Join us on Saturday, September 24th for all the graded stakes action. 10 stakes races total, including 5 graded stakes races. The free hat giveaway and fun for the whole family. Where parking and admission are always free. Highlighted by the Grade 1 Cotillion Stakes and the Grade 1 Bet Parx Pennsylvania Derby. Gates open at 11 a.m. First post time is 12:05. Join us on Saturday, September 24th for the biggest day of racing in Pennsylvania.
People talking about the Pennsylvania Derby, of course, as we've got plenty of time until then. But Sweet Lou Monaco had tweeted out, he was announcing that we had sent that press release out on Friday. And just like that, you see the audience responding, talking about Bet Parx and Bet Parx, the Pennsylvania Derby, as they are now going to be the title sponsor, the name of the Pennsylvania Derby this year. So really looking forward to that collaboration. Check out that press release. It's on our website at parxracing.com. And then a question from one of our tweeters out there. Patrick Brooks was asking, he asked Beamy Awards, Jason Beam, the announcer at Colonial, but obviously has a nationally known show. So he says, do you think Ness will show up for the Cotillion? Ness winning over the weekend. She could be looking at the Cotillion, a grade 1, a $1 million race. We'll see if Todd Pletcher does choose to send Ness over. Secret Oath, the coach, they were talking about sending her as well. So we'll see what happens with the 3-year-old fillies for the Cotillion, and also the Bet Parx Pennsylvania Derby right here on September 24th. Race number 3 at 1 mile, optional 49-2 life. Taking a look at the 3 Oilers, Scott Lake. We've seen this move work before. Claim from Churchill Downs. Off of that maiden $30,000 effort. Now comes in here for the optional 40, not in for the tag. I think this is kind of a new shooter type thing, new face in the crowd, and I think Euler does get the job done there in race number 3. We're off the turf this afternoon, so moving over to the main track, and let's take a look at the top selection in here. That's the 7 La La Lucy. I just think she's got a little more proven dirt form over some of her rivals. We'll see what the price is going to end up being. She's not going to be 10-1. We'll also see what happens with some scratches and changes in that race, but with it being moved to the main track, La La Lucy ends up as the top choice there in race 4. Race number 5. Competitive field. You got some 3-year-olds in here, and I think a 3-year-old that has run well against some older rivals, that's the 3 Captain Chaz. 5th last time out, throw out that state bred allowance race, 2 starts back. Really nice win for the open, $25,000 tag. Now comes right back here for the same condition, and you pick up Paco Lopez for the mount. So we'll see how Captain Chaz does perform. 5-1 in the morning line. I think it'll be a little bit shorter than that, but we'll see what ends up happening there in race number 5. We got a chance to catch up with a jockey who's emerging as a big threat here to the standings as he continues to ride very well in the turf. No turf racing today, but let's spend some time and catch up with jockey Andrew Wolfsont.
Jockey Andrew Wolfsont moved his tack to Parx Racing earlier this year. Where he grew up, he always knew about horse racing.
My first experience with the racetrack was probably as a kid going off to Saratoga Racetrack. I grew up in Boston Spa, right around the corner from Saratoga. So, with my dad and some family friends, we would go to Saratoga Racetrack. I got to see the jockeys and, just everything magical about Saratoga. I loved it, but I didn't think I was going to be a jockey because my dad told me, oh, no, you're going to be too big for that. I think he just wanted to plant a seed, so he didn't want me to become one because I clearly wasn't that smart. My dad being 5'4", and my mom 4'8", I was going to be small enough.
An athletic background was always prevalent with jockey Andrew Wolfsont.
I foolishly played lacrosse a lot, mostly because I had fun playing around with my friends. But I quickly learned in JV that the 6-foot-tall guys with 6-foot-long deep holes were definitely not good for me and my size. But I did a little bit of wrestling when I was young. I did a lot of skiing, just in upstate New York. Not too many team sports, just because I was the small guy.
Growing up near Saratoga, the lure of being around the horses was always there for Wolfsont.
To college for about a year and just didn't really feel like it was for me and decided to drop out. And I got a job on the backside of Saratoga back in I can't remember. I was 19 years old. I got a job hot walking and fell in love with the horses. I really did. And also just the energy of the backside and all of that. Then I came back the next summer, did it again for Todd Pletcher. While I was working there, they set me up with someone to learn how to ride down in Ocala. Went down there that fall. Of course, I picked terrible timing because that was 2008 financial crash, and the job that I had lined up fell through, and I had to get my own apartment and start just driving from farm to farm to farm until I finally found a place.
What has Andrew Wolfsont learned throughout his career?
Plenty of jockeys that I've come across that have a lot of ability, a lot of natural talent. They're charismatic, but they haven't been through that trial by fire. They haven't really, had to hustle. They haven't faced the adversity. And I think that's helped me a lot in my career, just facing that adversity early, whether it was down in Ocala when, I had to find a job, or, when I started off with the Bug in Maryland, being, a young rider who didn't have that background with horses, it didn't come naturally to me, so I really had to work at it, and I think those trainers really saw that I wasn't this, very gifted next coming jockey, and, so I didn't really get that much respect, so I had to hustle extra hard. But, I found my place when I moved my tack to Penn in the beginning of my apprenticeship, and slowly but surely it took off. I think it was towards the end of my apprenticeship year, I finally got rolling. I got into the right barns. I was, doing the classic apprenticeship, just winning races and, by the handfuls, and it all started to click. The races started slowing down. I was able to pick my spots. All that handicapping that I would do before the race, I could actually see it playing out in the race.
Making the full-time move from Penn National was a big decision for Andrew Wolfsont.
I kind of always wanted to make the move out here. One, there's just more trainers, more opportunities, also being centrally located, very close to New York, Delaware, Monmouth, still close to Penn. I have so many options by being based here, and just the opportunity presented itself when Richard Englander gave me a call and said that he really wanted me, and we had a good talk, and I felt like he was the right fit for me, so I decided to give it a shot.
How important are the mornings for a jockey?
Oh, they're hugely important. How competitive it is here, I have to show my value by how hard I can work in the mornings. That means, getting here first thing in the morning, getting on 8-9 horses a day when it's a busy morning. I had the misfortune of getting a hernia surgery back in December last year, and when I got physical therapy for it, my physical therapist, he told me that I need to stretch and warm up before I ever got on a horse, ever races. So every morning at like 5:45 in the morning, I go to the racing office and I start warming up. I have to stretch, I have to warm up, just so that way I can be ready, fresh to get on these horses, because they're 1,100-pound animals. And it's not like I can pick a nice, easy one. They're going to pull my guts out whether, I'm not feeling ready for them or not.
What's the future look like for jockey Andrew Wolfsont?
I try to just take it one day at a time. This game is way too tough in the day-to-day routine to be wandering, thinking about what could be in the years to come. So, I would love to one day ride in the Triple Crown, and I think a closer goal would just be able to ride a few races and hopefully a winner up at Saratoga, where I came from. But mostly just one day at a time, and hopefully show my value to these trainers here at Parx and be able to win races and outperform some of these top riders here at Parx.
Shout out, big thank you again to jockey Andrew Wolfsont, the Philly Big Five. It's going to start in race number 6 this afternoon. Big carryover jackpot, $155,000 plus going into this afternoon. Let's take a look at race number 6 at 1 mile and 70 yards. And I like this horse quite a bit to the inside of Malibu Star. I just think this horse getting back to the dirt has shown very good form here for trainer Bill Hogan Jr. and Dubiel Ignacio. They've paired up and they've been a good pairing here, gotten some wins. So that's going to be my top choice in race 6. Race number 7, taken off the turf, moved to the main track. The number 4, So Swell. We'll see what kind of value we do get in there. It's kind of a grab bag as far as that 7th race. It looks like a pretty competitive field with the move to the dirt, so we'll see if So Swell gets the job done there in race number 7. You're on your own until the live show there for 8, 9, and 10. Let's take a look at the big performance from last week. It was Uptown Charlie Brown Stud and For the Dreamers. Go back and watch that full race there. Ed Coletti Jr. sending out For the Dreamers. Huge performance there last week. So congratulations again to the connections. Hey, we got all kinds of great things going on social media, and we saw the Horse Whisperer. This is somebody that has tweeted a lot here at Parx Racing, but you take a look at big week for our boys, talking about some of their horses that they're sending out this week, and Knockout Kid entered right here at Parx on Wednesday. So looking forward to that. Thanks for getting involved on the social media world right here at Parx and following all the racing action. Track announcer Chris Griffin here. We'll have the live show coming up, plenty of paddock previews. I'll find out about scratches and changes as we're off the turf, and let's take a look at all the places you can follow us at Parx Racing, at In the Grandstand on Twitter, YouTube. Hit that subscribe, follow us on Facebook, and on Instagram. It's Parx_Racing. Happy to have you join us here for another great week of live racing, and we can't wait for September 24th and the Bet Parx Pennsylvania Derby.